Hello, movie and TV fans. Today I want to talk about a 1943 horror movie called The Return of the Vampire, starring the great classic king, one of the kings of horror, Bela Lugosi. Now, this is a new Blu-ray that just came out not too long ago. It's pretty new, and originally I had it on a DVD. I wouldn't say the upgrade here is really a dramatic upgrade, picture quality, but it's still superior to this one. So for those diehard fans, I would recommend getting it. Now, what can I say about this? For one thing, Columbia Pictures put this movie out in 1943, maybe to compete with some of the Universal Pictures classics. It doesn't really feel exactly like a Universal movie, but it's got enough ingredients in there, enough atmosphere, fog creeping in, black and white, of course, that if you didn't know, you might think it was part of the stable of Universal Pictures. So it kind of works in that vein. In this particular film, Bela Lugosi is a vampire again who has a werewolf assistant here. And we'll talk more about him in a little bit. But first I want to say that a lot of horror fans who I discuss these movies with, a lot of times they say, well, even though he's not playing Count Dracula here, it just as well should be Dracula because it certainly seems just like Dracula. And I take issue with that. I don't necessarily agree on it because Lugosi only played Dracula in two films. The original Dracula from 1931, then many years later in a comedy, Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. Although he's playing a vampire in this film, it's a vampire named Armand Tesla, presumably because they couldn't call him Dracula here, so they kind of made their own story because of legal reasons. But people think that just throwing a cape on Lugosi and having his Hungarian accent makes for Dracula. Well, not really, because to me, anyway, in my opinion, when you watch him in this film, he is a little different. He's a little more restrained. He seems a little more tired here. It's funny, Lugosi is usually very, very involved and into the part. Although he has moments in this film where he really comes to the fore, I always feel like he's more restrained. Like I say, more I don't know, weak, tired. He just doesn't seem like Dracula to me in this film. Still an enjoyable film in the horror vein. He plays a doctor who studied the history of vampires, and then he became consumed with it to the point where when he finally died, he came back as a vampire. And this assistant that he has is played by Matt Willis, not a very known actor. He plays a werewolf, but it's not a werewolf in like the Lon Chaney Jr. sense. He looks like it. He's got the hair and the claws and everything, but he speaks in a regular voice through his fangs. And he's basically an assistant like a Renfield. For some reason, Armand Tesla delights, I guess, in transforming his helper into a werewolf form. Don't know why, but he does. And he assists Armand Tesla in his various stalkings and plots that he does. He's basically coming back for revenge. I think that this film could have been called The Revenge of the Vampire. And I won't give too much away. I just want to take a moment here to note just a small thing, a little quibble. On the back of this, you've got a photo over there of Lugosi fighting off kind of like a prehistoric man from the movie The Return of the Ape Man, which is not Return of the Vampire. So they made a mistake on the back. Just thought I'd throw that in. As I say, it's an enjoyable film. It's got all the trappings that you would expect. Lugosi in there as a vampire. What's not to love about that if you're into it? As I said, it has all the look and the feel and the mood of a classic Universal. You got a werewolf, and you've also got Frida. I never know how to say her name. Frida Inescort, who plays a really good female Van Helsing type of character here, which is a refreshing change to see a female, especially in those days, in this kind of a role. This is a very early film featuring, and nobody knows how to say the name 100%. It's spelled F-O-C-H. Nina, I say Foch. Nina Foch. I've heard Nina Foch. That's not what I didn't say what you think I said. Or Foch. I'm going to say Foch. I don't know. Anyway, she's most known for people, I would say, who have seen the Ten Commandments as Moses' mother, or the one who finds the basket with the baby Moses in it. That's what she's the most known. And, you know, she doesn't have much to do in this particular movie, but she's pretty in it. And, you know, if you want to spend, you know, what is it, like 69, 70 minutes or so watching an enjoyable, good, but not anything sensational horror film, this one really works out. I really think that the scene in here that stands out to me is a confrontation between Lugosi's vampire and also the female, we'll call her Van Helsing-like character, Lady Jane, played by Frida Enniscort. I really think that that's a really marvelous scene, and Lugosi's at his best in there. Anyway, I rate my movies on a scale of 4 stars. I don't do the 5-star bit. So on a scale of 4 stars, I give this film, The Return of the Vampire, 3.